Justice and peace to each and every one of you. This is your servant, Hoverman Gump, the world's top Gump with news uncut. In Atlanta, Georgia, at a Subway sandwich store, there was a customer that came into the location, ordered a sandwich, and was enraged because there was too much mayo on that sandwich. Now, after this, an altercation became between him and two of the employees there. He pulls out a gun, shoots and kills one of the female employees who just started working there, and another female employee who is recovering now from her injuries. A 5-year-old child, by the way, was also inside that store while this customer, who now became a suspect, killed one, injuring another. Listen, look, and follow what's going on, and I will come back and give you not only what happened, but it's important to know, as your world's top cop, there is solutions that can prevent this from every business, from every employee being injured, every crime that is in this country. There are solutions here and around the world, and it is my duty to give it and offer the services to you. Watch and listen, and I will return.
A store owner says his heart is with his employees after a shooting at a Subway on Northside Drive. The owner says one of his employees is dead.
Well-rounded young ladies, really hard workers. Everybody loved them.
The owner says the woman just started a few weeks ago. He says another employee is injured and says one of the employee's sons was inside, witnessing everything.
Where we had a customer that came in that was a little upset about how his sandwich was fixed. Believe it or not, it was over too much mayonnaise on his sandwich.
That's when he says
all hell broke loose.
He says the man started shooting and the store manager shot back. When police arrived, the owner says they made an arrest, but he's not sure who it was. We're still working to get more information on what happened from police. As for the shooter, the owner says they've seen him before. He's a previous customer, but there haven't been any issues in the past.
It's scary out here. It's scary out here.
Now, the owner says they may close up shop.
Because of what happened tonight, me and my partners, we're actually reevaluating whether or not we're going to continue to do this in this neighborhood anyway.
Saying it's just not worth the risk.
Now let's get right to it. Now, this suspect, not knowing anything but to commit violence, all he ever knew, all he wanted in his mind and in his heart to commit was violence. And he did that, and the weapon of choice was what he had on him was a gun. Now, the employees didn't know it. The employees were not aware of this man having a weapon. Neither did the company prepare the employees for such an encounter as this. Now, the solutions to this that I will give you is to know this. Employers must prepare and train their employees differently how to encounter all kinds of customers, depending on the environment, depending on the location, and depending on who's coming in. There must be a change in the protocol of how the employees engage, talk, and communicate with all kinds of different customers, and certainly of this kind. Now, this suspect, this dangerous suspect, whom they did not know, but if they would have listened to the signs and they were trained in the appropriate way, this could have been avoided. And how can it be avoided for future references? Because we have now across the country customers who are becoming more violent and enraged to employees who have done them no harm and no wrong. Now, and the employees can only do so much to avoid the conflict. But it doesn't help if an argument or something that is said in the wrong way to trigger these violent customers, violent individuals to commit deadly actions towards the employees. And to avoid this, this is where this comes in, and it's called strategic security, CSI, for businesses that can come in and give proper training to the employees regardless of where you are, and to weekly and monthly or whatever the case may be, assess the mind and the lifestyle and the problems that employees face that could also bring an impact and cause a problem to escalate while at the job with customers who are already in a violent confrontational mindset. This is important, and it's important for businesses to understand that they must have employees there and mechanisms in place to better assess the situations in the mindset of the employees to handle customers in a way who are dangerous or not, to ensure that the employee's safety is safe while working and when they leave the location from work to go home. This is important, and it must be done in the proper way, and to teach the employees how to assess dangerous situations with customers, and to be able to look at the clues and red flags to make sure that they do not engage nor confront or encounter any other mechanisms that will cause a suspect, a customer, to commit violence towards them. How do you do that? There is nothing out there now, but now as I speak to you, there are solutions to what I just given you to save employees' life. Now, when this suspect committed this violence and shot and killed the employee who just worked there, we don't know what could have been done in a way to prevent this, but only we do know what can now be done, which you never knew, with strategic security, CSI, security consulting and investigations that bring solutions to this very problem that could have saved that employee's life. Is now before you for every business, regardless of where you are. This must be done to protect the employees, to be able to assess and engage all customers in the appropriate manner, regardless of what they say or do, because your safety as an employee for a company is far more important than engaging in any manner that will irritate or cause a dangerous individual to commit violence towards you as an employee and towards the business as the employer. And so now as I speak, that suspect, after committing this violent act, left the location. Now this is important now too. What helped the law enforcement agencies there to quickly identify and assess who was the guilty person in fault of this deadly crime came down to a citizen who called the local area law enforcement there. In response, they were able to gather investigation properly and correctly enough to put that suspect in handcuffs, and he is now in custody. No one knows the identity of this suspect other than the fact that it's a male and he's 26 years old. Now that further gives a problem, but it doesn't really make a sense not to give the information unless the identity of this person deals with the race of this individual. And not only the race of this individual, but the background of this individual has a lot to do with why or why not the identification of the suspect is not being brought forth. But nevertheless, this suspect was brought into custody because there was a citizen who gave the proper information to the police. Now, someone else there knew who this individual was, because at a location, things happen when a crime is committed. The suspect gets away in a vehicle, and the suspect's information or identity is on camera at the location. Now we have people who also witnessed and probably seen or heard the gunfire at the location, but this suspect was able to get away. But a citizen who knew of the situation did the proper communications to the police, and that should have been the same way with citizens who was present or around at the time of this deadly shooting, to properly get the information and relay that information safely and correctly, so that suspect could have been caught on his way from the location to wherever he went. Now, to safely do that, Strategic Security CSI implements CPIIA, Citizens and Police Immediate Interactive Assistance, where we identify, be able to teach not only businesses, but citizens in every community how to properly notify, document, assess, and do things safely to protect businesses, homes, and children in every community across the country, and to rely pertinent information, documentation, and expert witness help and assistance to every citizen to give that immediately, effectively, and quicker, to have a quicker response and a reaction to get the assistance from police to wherever you are and wherever at whatever time you may be, for your safety, and to reserve and to gain the proper steps necessary to put a suspect in handcuffs with CPIIA. All of this is available. You can text SSCSI at what is given before you, and we together can ensure that our communities and businesses within communities, together we can make this country and our communities safer, save life, and remove dangerous criminals proactively and reactively off the streets all across this country. Over out.